Title: My wife kept calling me paranoid. Turns out I wasn't paranoid enough. I honestly never thought I'd be the guy posting here, but after everything that's happened, I need to get this off my chest. My wife, 32F, and I, 34M, had been together for almost 9 years, married for 6. For most of our relationship, I thought we were solid. We weren't perfect, but who is? We had disagreements about work, money, and family, but I always believed we respected each other enough to work through them. Looking back, the problems didn't start overnight. She became colder. Every conversation somehow turned into an argument. If I asked a simple question, she'd snap at me like I was interrogating her. She started staying late at work several nights a week, guarded her phone like it contained state secrets, and suddenly cared a lot more about how she looked before leaving the house. Whenever I asked if everything was okay, she'd roll her eyes. "You're so insecure. Stop being controlling. You always imagine the worst." After hearing those lines enough times, I actually started believing I was the problem. Then the lies started stacking up. One Friday, she told me she had to attend an overnight work conference. The story sounded normal enough, except she packed clothes that looked more appropriate for a vacation than a business trip. The next morning, I called her around 10 a.m. just to ask how things were going. No answer. Hours later, she texted that she was busy in meetings. Something felt wrong. That evening, one of our mutual friends accidentally posted Instagram stories from a rooftop restaurant across town. In the background, I saw my wife. She wasn't at any conference. She was laughing while holding hands with another man. My heart honestly stopped for a second. I replayed the story over and over, hoping I had mistaken someone else for her. I hadn't. I drove there immediately. By the time I arrived, they were gone. When she came home the next day, she acted completely normal. She kissed me on the cheek and asked if I wanted coffee. I looked at her and asked one question. "How was your conference?" Without even blinking, she smiled. It was exhausting. That lie hurt more than the video. I showed her the screenshot. She froze for about 3 seconds. Then came the excuses. "He's just a coworker. We only had dinner. You don't understand the context." When I pointed out they were holding hands, suddenly she claimed he had been comforting her because work was stressful. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because the lie was so ridiculous. Over the next hour, her story changed at least 6 times. Nothing physical happened. Okay, we kissed once. Actually, we'd been talking for months. Then finally, fine, we've been sleeping together. I felt like every memory of our marriage was being rewritten in real time. I asked the obvious question. "Why?" She shrugged. "I wasn't happy." I reminded her that I had asked dozens of times whether something was wrong. She had always said everything was fine. She looked me straight in the eyes and said something I'll never forget. "I didn't want to deal with your emotions." That sentence broke something inside me. The following week was chaos. I found out she'd opened a separate bank account months earlier without telling me. She had lied about business trips. She lied about working weekends. She lied about visiting her mother. She even lied about where she'd been on our anniversary because she claimed she had a migraine. Turns out she'd spent that evening with him. Every new discovery felt worse than the last. Then came another surprise. The other man contacted me, not to apologize, to tell me she'd been lying to him too. She had told him we were already separated. She promised him she was filing for divorce. None of it was true. She was living 2 completely different lives. When I confronted her again, she somehow blamed both of us. She said I had become emotionally distant. She said he pressured her. She said she didn't know what she wanted. She cried. She begged. She apologized. Then an hour later, she accused me of invading her privacy because I'd looked through our shared tablet after noticing her messages were still synced to it. Even then, she couldn't stop shifting the blame. For a while, I actually considered trying marriage counseling. 9 years together isn't easy to throw away. I remembered our vacations, our first apartment, the nights we stayed awake planning our future. I kept asking myself whether those memories meant enough to save what was left. But every time I started believing reconciliation was possible, I'd discover another lie. Another hidden expense. Another fake story. Another deleted conversation that wasn't actually deleted because it had been backed up to the cloud. Eventually, I realized something painful. The affair wasn't what destroyed our marriage. The endless lying did. You can't rebuild trust when someone keeps handing you new reasons not to trust them. So I contacted a lawyer. I moved into my brother's guest room for a while. The divorce process was ugly. She alternated between begging me to come back, insulting me, accusing me of ruining her life, and insisting she'd never really loved the other guy anyway. It felt like emotional whiplash. Months have passed now. I'm not going to pretend everything is okay. Some mornings I still wake up expecting her to be next to me. Certain songs still remind me of road trips we took together. Sometimes I wonder whether any part of our marriage was real. Therapy helped more than I expected. So did spending time with people who never once told me I was crazy for trusting my instincts. The biggest lesson I learned is this: when someone repeatedly makes you question your own reality, pay attention. Love requires honesty. Without honesty, you're just sharing a house with someone who tells convincing stories. If your partner constantly changes their explanations, dismisses your concerns, or calls you paranoid every time you notice inconsistencies, don't ignore that feeling. You deserve respect. You deserve truth. And no matter how much history you've built together, don't let the fear of starting over keep you trapped in a relationship built on lies. Thanks for reading. I'm still healing, but for the first time in a long time, I finally feel like I'm moving forward.